Self-Love is the New Sexy, the podcast devoted to helping you overcome life's most painful and stubborn challenges so you can feel great, have more energy, and live stress-free every day. To reach your full potential, simply work with the powerful spiritual principles that are readily accessible to everyone. It's easier than you think, and on today's show, W. Mark Watts is going to show you how starting with self-love is the key to joyously and harmoniously making that happen.
Hey everybody, this is W. Mark Watts. Welcome and thank you for hanging out with me for another episode of Self-Love is the New Sexy. And today's episode is going to be brief because I can feel that I'm going to get on my soapbox right away, so I don't want to burden you with that. But today's episode is about how much is your happiness and success worth? How much is your happiness and success worth? Now, the reason I bring this up is because you all know that I am a coach. I am a self-love coach. And I had a couple of free sessions this week with individuals whom I asked one question. I asked them how long they had been listening to the podcast, and they said for quite some time. And you all know that I am very, very much for mindset shifts, but also real life exercises, real life paths to get to those shifts. And so my next question was, what of the exercises in the episodes, any episode that you've listened to, have you tried? And have you given some concerted effort towards? And in both cases, the individuals could not tell me what exercises, what moves, shifts they had sincerely taken action toward to help them overcome whatever challenges they're facing right now, where self-love or loving themselves, putting themselves number one, is top of mind. So I can't tell you how interesting that is, but it's also really the norm. Believe me, it happens more than we are willing to admit. And how do I know that? It's because I myself have done that. I've studied material for years. I have all kinds of things that I bought and researched and stored that I did not take action on. So I know exactly what they were saying. However, I'm in the place right now where I'm in for another shift. My next wave of energy, my next direction is coming through, which means it's a very powerful time for me to take action and move to a higher level, stronger vibration, to achieve more, to be more, to help more. So I'm preparing for that. And one of the things that I'm doing just earlier today, this afternoon, I had a meeting with my next coach, whom I've worked with some in the past. And now I am hiring her again to help me go release, move forward beyond where I am now so that I can break through into my next level, my next chapter, whatever that is. And it will not be cheap because she is very good at what she does. And as I said, I've experienced her work before, so I know what I'm getting, but I'm ready. I know I've reached a point where I'm opening up to do new things. I want new challenges. I want new successes, and I want to be of more service. And I want assistance in moving in some of these directions and getting grounded and putting together a firm plan so that I can execute on it. So what does that mean with respect to the people that I talked to so far this week? You know, it's very interesting how when someone will come to me and say, you know, I'm hurting, I really want help, I really want to get better, I really this, that, and the other. And then we start to move forward and they don't take any action. So here is a couple of things that I just want to point out that you must have if you want to get better, have success, serve more, get on your mission, move out of whatever you're in right now into the next step, the next chapter, the next phase of your life. Number one is you've got to take some action. And listening to the podcast and watching videos and all of that, there are steps. They are steps. So don't get me wrong. That's definitely a start. And again, I've been there. I've done that. I still do that. I'm a information. I study. I will always study. I'm always looking to learn. So I totally get that. However, what I've found is when I start really applying the things that I'm watching, that I'm taking in, things start to shift and things start to help. So I'm helping myself when I take action. So taking action is number one. Just being present, watching, observing, researching, that's just the beginning. That is just the beginning. That's the tip of the iceberg. Nothing's going to move from you just listening or researching and storing. Nothing's going to move until you move, get into action, and start applying the techniques, the exercises, the tips that you're getting from these videos and these podcasts or coaches or people that you trust and, people who have been there and done that and are moving forward. So number one is if you come to me, and definitely if you schedule a free session with me, please try some of the exercises that I'm offering. I'm offering them for a reason. It's because they work if you work them. They don't work if you don't work them. So you can't get on a call with me and say, yeah, I'm serious about making change. Then I ask you if you've taken any action on the exercises and how long have you taken the action? And you say no, or a week or a day, which leads me into the next point, which is once you get into motion and you're taking action, it doesn't happen overnight. It's very rare that major breakthroughs happen in an instant overnight. So I'm going to be honest with you. Don't expect it. Miracles happen. However, where you are on your journey is a progression through time. Where you are right now didn't happen overnight. It's happened over time. And the flip side is also true. Moving through into that next chapter, relieving the stresses, changing your mindset, that's also a progression. It takes time. So point number two is you are going to have to keep working at these things. My coach today, or my new coach to be again, as we were mapping out the rough schedule or the rough draft of what our coaching will look like, she told me, she said, for what you're looking for, it's a minimum of 12 weeks, minimum of 12 sessions to get to this next level of breakthrough. Based on our discovery meeting that we had today for an hour, me and her going back and forth, me explaining what I wanted, her describing to me what she's hearing, and laying out a rough draft of what that looks like in terms of how do we get from where I am now to where I want to be. Minimum. So that's 3 months, a minimum of 3 months until what we deem will be my next level, until I can open up enough or get to that next level. So we're going to start to cut this short and wind it down. 2 points. If you're listening to this podcast and other podcasts and videos and reading articles and you find yourself challenged where self-love is involved, then that's the first step. The main step is to start to try these exercises. So whatever resonates with you, whatever feels right, whatever catches your attention, you've got to start diving in. Whatever's applicable to your particular situation, you got to start taking action and trying these exercises and following the instructions. And once you get started, you have to stay on it. You've got to constantly stay on it. I'm constantly on my grind. I'm constantly working. Yes, I play and I relax and I have fun, but I'm constantly thinking, looking and open to my next thoughts, my next guidance, my next levels of guidance, so that I can move forward. Because there's always several of my coaches, I should say, in the past have always told me, even my very first coach years ago, says there's always a next level. There's always something else you can do. There's always better. You can always get better. You can always help more. You can always do a little something different. So you've got to stay on it. You got to be vigilant, because that's where the progress, that's where the breakthroughs happen. Matter of fact, that's it. The breakthroughs happen while you're being vigilant. The breakthroughs happen while you're working. Some of them might happen. A small percentage of things might break through while you're resting. But in my case, I know the majority of my breakthroughs, the majority of my next chapters, my next levels they occurred while I was in action. I was on it. And so that taught me that I've got to stay on it. So I got to put myself in the right place around the resources that I need. I got to take action, and I've got to stay on it. That's where the breakthrough is. So I invite you, if you're really looking for that change that you say you want in your life, get started practicing these exercises, these lessons, these tips, and stay on it, just like I do. And I know you will, because you're hanging out with me. So I look forward to speaking with you all again soon. Remember, get started and stay on it. Talk to you later. Bye now.
You've been listening to Self-Love is the New Sexy with W. Mark Watts. If you enjoyed today's show, be sure to tell a friend. Also, make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to our show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you listen to podcasts.